Okay, tonight we're going to learn the MAC method. And MAC stands for multiplying A and C. That's what MAC stands for. Okay? Now, I'll explain that in a second. But we use this method. All right, boys and girls, we're going to start chapter 8.6. This method that we're going to use is when our leading coefficient's not 1. If it's bigger than 1, we're going to use the MAC method. And MAC stands for multiply A and C. In the video and in class, you're going to hear another name for it, which is slide, divide, bottoms up. So I just want you to know that either way I say it, I mean the same thing. They just have different names. So what I mean is first we have to check and see if the first term is 1 or if it's bigger than 1. And if it's bigger than 1, we're going to use the MAC method or the slide, divide, bottoms up method. So what we're going to do is we're going to force our trinomial to have a leading coefficient of 1 by taking the leading coefficient, sliding it down to the end, and multiplying it by the last term. So this is now going to become 2 times 5. That way our leading coefficient can be 1, and then we've rewritten our trinomial to x squared plus 11x plus 10. Then we're going to factor, just like you've learned in the last section. Draw your parentheses, put your variable in the front. The last term is plus, so they're going to be the same. The middle term is plus, so they're both going to be plus. And then you figure out what two numbers multiply to give you 10, but add to give you 11. And I'll give you a second to think about it. And of course it's going to be 10 and 1, so you're going to plug those in. And then we did the slide part. Now we're going to divide. So I want to divide by the leading coefficient, which is 5. And we're going to divide each of our two factors that we got. And then reduce the fractions. So 10 over 5, that reduces to 2. And then 1 over 5, I can't reduce. It's just 1 over 5. And then what we mean by bottoms up is we're going to take any denominator that we have and we're going to put it in front of the x. So that's going to be x plus 2 and then 5x plus 1. And those are our factors. But of course we want to check it too, so we're going to come over here and check our work and FOIL it back out. So first is going to be 5x squared. Outside is going to be plus 1x. Inside is going to be plus 10x. And last is going to be plus 2. And when you add the two middle terms, you should get 11x like our question. And if you get the same thing as your question, then you know that your two factors are correct. Okay, so let's try one more. I'm going to write the words down again. Slide, divide, then bottoms up. So we're going to, because our leading coefficient is 6, we're going to take it, slide it down to the end, and we're going to multiply 6 times 5. And rewrite our trinomial to be x squared plus 13x plus 30. So that's the slide part. Now that we have this new trinomial, we can factor it like we already know how to factor. So we're going to write our parentheses, fill in our variable. We're going to figure out what multiplies to give us 30 but adds to give us 13. It's 10 and 3. And our signs are plus, so that means our signs and our factors are going to be plus, plus. We're going to put 10 and 3 Then we have to do the divide step. So we're going to divide each of those factors by our leading coefficient that we started with, so 6, and reduce the fractions. So 2 will go into both 10 and 6. That'll be 5/3. And then 3/6 will reduce to 1/2. Now we have to do the bottoms up step. So we take the denominator, put it in front of the x. Each denominator we have, so that's going to be 3x plus 5, and then 2x plus 1. And that'll be the answer to our question, but we still want to check it. So we're going to come over here, out of the way, and we're going to check our work. By foiling, so that's going to be 6x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 1 is 5. Combine the two middle terms, and you get 13x plus 5. And hopefully that's what we started with. But if you'll look back over here, it is what we started with, so we know that our answer is correct. Okay, so let's try again, this time with different signs. The last number here is going to be negative, so that means we're going to have different signs in our factors, but we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to take the leading coefficient, slide it to the end, and multiply, and then rewrite our trinomial. So x squared plus 4x minus 45. Then we're going to factor. Since the last term is negative, the signs are going to be different. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to multiply to give us negative 45 and add to give us 4, or subtract to give us 4, since we have different signs. So 9 and 5 will multiply to give us 45, and 9 and negative 5 will combine and give us 4. So since the 5's the negative, it goes with the minus, and since the 9's positive, it goes with the plus. And those are our factors. And now we need to divide by the leading coefficient, which was 3. Reduce our fractions. I cannot reduce 5/3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And then bottoms up. So we're going to take the denominator, if there is one, and we're going to move it in front of the variable. And that's my answer, but I still need to check and make sure that I got it right. So we've got 3x squared plus 9x minus 5x minus 15. And 9x minus 5x is 4x. Hopefully that's what we had. If you'll look back to your problem, that is what we had, so we know that our answer is correct. All right, one more example. Then you're going to have some guided questions. We're going to take our leading coefficient, slide it to the end, multiply. 10 times negative 14. Then rewrite our trinomial. Oops. Ten times 14 is 140, so it's negative 140. Factor. We're trying to figure out what's going to multiply to give us negative 140, but combine and give us 31. This one's kind of hard. It just took me a minute to figure them out too. So if you want to have another few seconds to figure it out on your own, just pause it. But the factors are 35 and 4. I know I'm trying to subtract to get 31 because my signs are going to be different, because that last number is negative. So I know my signs are going to be different, and that means I'm going to subtract to get 31. So that helped me to know that I my factors were going to be 35 and 4. And then I need to have positive 31 when I combine them, so that means my bigger number has to be positive. So I'm going to do plus 35 and minus 4. Now we have to divide by the leading coefficient, so we're going to divide by 10 and reduce the fractions. Then you're going to do bottoms up. So you're going to take the denominator and you're going to put it in front of the variable. So we're going to have 2x plus 7, 5x minus 2. And those are my factors. But I want to come over here and check, make sure that I got them right. So I'm going to FOIL them out over here. So I'm going to get 10x squared minus 4x plus 35x minus 14. And if you add negative 4 and 35, you get 31x. And hopefully you get the same thing that you started with, so you know that your answer is correct. Okay, do these 4 questions on a separate sheet of paper. Make sure you show all of your work. Make sure that you check all of the problems. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.